Right now on Campbell's Comments, love promoting yearlings, and it's a very, very busy time, both sides of the ditch. And I'm going to say a big hello to the guys from Southern Bred Southern Reared. Tonight we've got David Kennedy firstly. Hello, David.
Hi, Paul.
Now, Manners always says you should go with the lady first, but Katrina Price, welcome back to Campbell's Comments, because I had a great chat to you last year after a super sale that you actually had last year. So welcome back.
Yes, yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was a magic time. But no, good to be back again.
It was just for some people that may not be aware. You topped the sale with both your last two lots, with two of your colts last year. It was it's a great time of the year, sales. It's what we all build ourselves up for. But then it's a long time, isn't it, to get back to this time of the year again?
Yeah, it's sort of a bit two ways. Yes, it feels like a long time, but then it feels like it rolls around really quick, and it's like, oh my gosh, feels like it was only a few weeks ago that I was going through all this again. So yeah, but anyway, no, it's bowling around.
You are Price Bloodstock, and you are just a seller. You sell horses. That's what you do. You also prepare for other people. How many in your draft this year, all up?
Yeah, typically I don't prepare for other people.
Oh, don't you? Sorry.
Yeah, so last year was sort of a bit of a one-off. So, Dave's health here last year wasn't too good, so I did a couple for him. But thankfully, he's fighting fit again, and so there's no need for me to take over anymore. So, last year we had two of our own, and this year's the same. We've got two. We've actually probably got a big draft of our own coming up next year. There's probably up to 6. So, typically just do our own. Yeah, because we also train a little bit, and fingers in a few pies.
You also have a soda stream machine and everything, so it's all good. That's just a little bit of an in-joke, so it'll be fine. One thing I do want to, when we get towards the end of the sale, because we're going to highlight I think we've got about 9 to highlight, and our last lot number we're going to highlight is 407, but you've even got one in after that, Katrina, and sometimes where you end up can be very dodgy, but the end of this catalogue is as good as at the start of it, isn't it?
There's actually some really nice lots right at the end. So, it's one of those things everything's out of your control. So either there's money in the pockets and everybody's desperate to get a horse, or they've already bought and they're all in the bar and you're walking round and round the ring to nobody. So that's out of your control. So, what will be, will be.
The joys of numbers and names, David, and we say that with when the alphabets come out as to who gets what in the thing. Putting a moniker of Bodine at the first name, you can get all yours in one hit. You could either be at the start or the end of it, can't you?
Yes, thinking about changing the name, putting a filly's name first and then Bodine, like changing it from A to C or D, like rather than having Bodine Stella or Bodine something. I'm looking at thinking, rather than having them all at one hit, it'd be better to start with a name and then Bodine, especially the filly and the colts the other way around.
It can be a bit of a juggle, and I know, I'm presuming NZB are the same as most of the others, that they don't like to put all your horses one after the other, especially if you do have them in Bodine. But it can be a little bit of a tricky thing as far as cataloguing, getting a catalogue and trying to get a bit of a gap between your horses with that moniker at the start of it.
Yes, it certainly is, and it can play in your favour and against you.
Now, Bodine's a well-known name over here in Australia, and it's a well-known name in New Zealand. Horses like Bodine, Boaz, and the likes. I've been fortunate enough to have had one, but I suppose one of the horses that maybe a lot of the Australians aren't aware that you did breed is one of the fastest horses ever to grace a track here in Australia, and I would imagine in New Zealand, in I Am the Mighty Quinn.
Yeah, he was a lovely wee horse. I sold him as a weanling because I didn't think he'd be super commercial. He just paced, he looked magnificent, just paced everywhere, and just a wee fella. And I only got, I think it might have been 2,500, 3,000. No, it might have been 4,000. I can't remember now. But he was on sold for 11, and then I think huge money to Aussie.
Yeah,
and did a fantastic job. Gary Hall certainly got the best out of him, that's for sure.
I personally, I don't know about you guys, I love watching high-speed horses, and a horse like him, when you see drivers, and even like Nathan Jack, I think it was the Victoria Cup with him, and it was like he almost got pulled out of the back of the sulky when he let down. There was something about a horse that they just bring people to the crowds with that electrifying speed, don't they?
Oh, absolutely, and he certainly had electrifying speed. He was just a speed merchant, really. Like when they let him out for one run, he could just fly.
Yeah, just a beautiful horse and a lovely horse. West Australians, they like your horses from the South Island. One thing I will say, any of the guys watching this from Western Australia, there's quite a few we're going to highlight tonight. They've got a very big West Australian connection, haven't they?
Yeah, the Southland horses have done exceptionally well in WA, and it's good for us because we are sellers.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's exactly right, and that's what we're here to do. And you're part of also the Southern Bred Southern Reared group, which just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And I've spoken to John Stiven, Mark Smith quite regularly, both on this show and off air, and it must be a lot of fun. Effectively, we're doing this interview. You've gone around to see Katrina and be able to do it, to be a part of a group. It must be a lot of fun. I think it's something that in Australia we don't have.
Well, it's quite unique in New Zealand, really. It's the Southern Bred. We all get on so well, and everybody helps one another. And I think we've got a great organisation. And as you say, our brand is getting known well throughout Australia and New Zealand now. And I think a lot of the people are quite envious of us now because we do pull a lot of weight in the breeding game now.
I think it sort of came out of necessity, didn't it?
It did come out of necessity.
We're a long way away from anywhere. And probably nobody was going to come down just to see one of us individually. So it was just about getting together. And yeah, I think it's probably a good lesson for what can be achieved when people sort of put their own interests aside and, work on the common good. So yeah, but as you said, it's pretty neat. Look, we do quite a lot of social things together, the group, and we've got
a great camaraderie, and everybody works for each other, not as an individual. We all pull together and we all benefit, to be fair.
I'm going to throw you under the bus because I didn't ask you this question, so I'm hoping one of you two could get me out of trouble. When is your Southern Bred Southern Reared tour at the minute? When is that going to be held?
So Monday and Tuesday, the 7th and 8th of February.
Very good. Now, I do know now it hasn't been finalised, and Nigel Armstrong, he might be sitting there watching this and fall on the floor in a minute because he's the one person I haven't spoken to about this, but I am going to cross with him. Now, I'm going to say it's live. It might go up as a recorded thing because I'm going to be in Tamworth that weekend with some stuff that I've got on as well. So it'll be just a matter of how we do it. But I know Nigel, I think we're going to be at John Stiven's. We've got to make sure we've got good reception because we'll be outside, so we need a good Wi-Fi and the likes. But we're going to definitely do a cross from there, which will be a lot of fun. It'll also showcase, I think, to a lot of people here in Australia who still probably can't get their head around what you guys do, what is actually on offer and what you go through.
Yeah, unfortunately, things are going to be a wee bit different. So our government has just announced new COVID regulations. So we are going to be limited to 100 people. So actually, Dave and I are just sitting down here and basically going through the list. Yeah. So I mean, I think last year we had 140 people here, on the Monday night. So that is going to change a wee few things, but we'll certainly still have the horses to parade, and we'll be trying to do things as well as what we legally can. It
is a shocking thing, COVID. We don't want it and all the rest. Man, it makes it hard for sales. Hasn't it thrown you guys just the biggest curveball? Like some of you guys were turning around, packing up and going home last year, and then you had to turn around and come back. And now this year it's raised its head again. It's amazing how it can affect certain things, like it's affected everyone, but certain organisations at certain times, it just wants to keep raising its head, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it seems to do it at the same time every year too.
Exactly. So. That's the unfortunate thing when everything, you want everything going smoothly, it just throws a absolute curveball.
Yeah, sort of when you're yelling prep, there's kind of enough things
enough
that you're
pressure,
trying and that you're trying to control without this. But anyway, it is what it is, and we've just got to kind of make the best of the situation.
Absolutely.
And as I said, I'll be catching up with Nigel and possibly Cam Bray, because I think, is he on your list or is he off your list? Does he stay on
Cam's coming.
He's on it. He's not on the naughty list. I'd put him on the naughty list, Cam Bray. but that's okay. So we'll be trying to do something a little bit different and catch up with them, as is what we're going to do tonight. I said about 9. Are we going to highlight about 9 horses tonight? Is that what we're going to try and do?
Yeah, I think
I think it's about 9, yes.
And I'm just going to put a little covenant. There's 2 horses that I didn't have video uploads for at the minute. I've got pictures in their pedigrees, but unfortunately we didn't get some videos. But of the rest, if the videos are there, we're going to play them and go from there. But I encourage everyone to go to NZB standardbreds.co.nz to view the full catalogue, and I would imagine when those couple of videos go up as well, they'll be updated onto that site. But that's the best place for everyone to go and view the online catalogue as well, isn't it?
Yes, well, everything's in one place. You've got the photos, pedigrees, you know, the page
videos.
and the videos all in the one spot. So, yep, definitely. And all the updates.
And it's a very, like for me, Australian friends, it's a very easy website to deal with. It's basically follows, you step by step, so it's terrifically easy and foolproof, I suppose, is the best way to go about it. Now, I love this, and I hate this. I have a soft spot for trotters. You guys have only produced one for me to show me, but it's okay. He's a lovely trotter. Our first one we are going to highlight, and I will play the video right now as it's going, is lot number 187, who is a Love You colt out of One Over the Sky called Love You to the Sky. This is for the White Stables. Absolute ripper. For the Australian people over here, Majestic Sun and Sundon, they just keep winning races over here in Australia. I presume it's the same in New Zealand. Well, of course it is the same in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Horse called Sunday Sun goes okay, doesn't he?
Not bad.
And then
Super horse.
And then Love You, and I dug up because I do work for Harasta Trotters, Pat Driscoll and the crew. On Derby Day over here and Redwood Day, it's one of our biggest days. Love You had 15 runners. Now that's a predominantly 2 and 3 year old day. I think there was 3 2-year-old races and 3 3-year-old races. There was 15 runners on the day. He had 4 in the Derby and 4 in the Redwood. And 2 of those horses were Parisian Artiste and Queen Elida. That Queen Elida won everything prior to that, and then Parisian Artiste, he was just a jet and just keeps getting better and better, and winner of the Breeders' Crown. So he does an enormous job, Love You, and possibly a little bit unheralded because I think everyone says, oh, he's a champion. So I think he slips under the radar of a lot of people. But that colt, and the video's just finished playing, guys. But what a lovely, cracking colt he is.
Yeah, the catalogue says he's bay, but as you can see, he's definitely a chestnut, which I understand that's definitely what you want with the Love Yous. So, and as you said, first foal from a 5-win Majestic Sun, daughter of millionaire One Over Kenny, and she in turn has left, Group 1 winner and One Over Damoon. You guys will be very familiar with Ultimate Strides. I mean, look, this is a family that's just absolutely packed, full of top performers. So
Group 1s.
Yeah.
It is Group 1s, and I read one of our race callers, Lockie McIntosh, went to Sweden, and the one thing he says about what you said there, Katrina, about the Love Yous, if they're chestnuts, that's one of the kickers, and yeah, Lockie, they don't even have to perform well over here. Lockie just has a very soft spot. As soon as he sees a chestnut Love You, he nearly picks them on top. I think they might have form of 4 duck eggs, but he'll find an excuse to pick them on top. But if you took that flaxen mane and tail out of that horse, and if you just put dark points about him, he's just a cracking colt just to look at on the ground, isn't he?
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely.
And like the Ultimate Stride, he was sort of that same beautiful sort of colour, not quite as flaxen in the mane and tail. So yeah, there's definitely some of the family traits coming through there.
Now, the second one we have to highlight here is lot number 206, which is a Bettor's Delight filly, and I've got the right shirt on for that. At Attacked Lizzie. Now, the kicker with this horse is going to be the first horse sold on sale day number 2, which commences at 1 o'clock. Always a tricky little time because a lot of people might be pushing to get there, or they might be out inspecting horses. We want to make sure for Faithful, I'm not sure what they go by. Is it just Faithful, is it, for the proctors and that? But make sure that people are there and are ready to go to check out this horse, lot number 206.
Yeah, no, she's a lovely filly. Bettor's Delight out of a Christian Cullen, the Ultimate Cross. It's the Nick. And the thing about this filly is there's not a lot. I don't know if there's any been sold through the yearling sales. Most of them, they get up and running and keep the fillies and sell the colts. So out of a 10-win Christian Cullen mare, there'll be very, very few chances to get into this family. It's the Red Diamond family. It's a known 2-year-old family, and it can leave some lovely horses. It's a great pedigree, and I think it's a great fillies family. Like you've got Tact Ailey's Delight, and you've got Tact Major, Spectacular. Tact Maggie went 151. Like there's speed and there's a lot of wins.
You
Especially the fillies, they do a lot of races.
You talk about speed there, David, and I say about what I like in racehorses. Tack Tate, the horse that come over here and raced for Amanda Turnbull, high speed, high performing horse, performed in Group 1s. When you got speed in Group 1 races, you've got serious speed, and that's for sure. So he was a beautiful horse. We went 150 himself, and just trying to 12 Victorian wins, but I think he's been over to America now, and I think he's still winning races over there. So he is a real exciting horse. And it's interesting that they don't sell horses, so that's a great opportunity for people to be able to get in and invest. She was, one of those horses that I didn't have a video for. I actually went to play the video, and I'm like, this is one that I had to tell people. So keep an eye out for lot 206 for the video to upload. But yeah, just a ripping family there, that's for sure.
So Australians might be familiar. So this is Derek Dines' breed, so Tactile Lodge. Yeah. So it goes, right back to Tactile.
Yeah, it does. It's been a great family for years.
Yep, very good. All right, number 228 for the White Stables. The beautifully named Elton Jay. It's a very, very cleverly named son of Always Be Mickey out of a Christian Cullen mare in Zingara. Again, black type all the way through here. Laredo Torpedo is a horse we know over here in Australia, and it's just a ripping family, Katrina.
Yes, and he looks like he's, what you'd expect out of a Always Be Mickey. He's a nice big rangy colt. You've got in the third dam there probably one of New Zealand's most influential dams ever in Black Watch. So, you go through so many of the top horses, in New Zealand and that get exported, and typically, they go back to Black Watch. So it's just one of those families. The other thing I really like about this one here, you've got a great line of broodmare sires with, Christian Cullen, Vance Hanover, and then you've got, Black Watch herself. So, yeah, there's a lot here to like about the page, and, some really nice winners, Laurella up there. So, yeah, and the nice looking Always Be Mickey too. So
he was a nice type of colt.
He was a nice type of colt. His video just played, and I'll just whack his pedigree up there for people to see. But it's because his pedigree is so long, that's actually one thing that I didn't get to see. So when you said Black Watch, I looked down and I was like, have I missed it? But unfortunately, because he has got such a strong pedigree, you only get the 2 dams in there. So that's I'm glad you pointed that out. So, yeah. And Christian Cullen, both sides of the breeding, it doesn't matter whether he's on the father side, which we get in this catalogue. Actually, a little bit of difference coming up now. But also on the dam side, it's he's such an influential part in Australasian breeding and even horses going to America, isn't he?
Oh, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
You get Cullen on that broodmare sire's side, and it's just that injection of speed.
Yeah, he's a speed horse too himself. A bit of direct scooter line, like he was a phenomenal sire.
It's one of the unique things
female and male.
I've seen. There is one horse I know of, and it's for another sale here in Australia. But it's one of the unique parts with having Lazarus. You get that Christian Cullen on both sides now, being a son of Betters right out of a Christian Cullen, and then this filly is out of a Christian Cullen mare, so it's actually a very unique cross over here, and I'm sure you've probably got a couple of those here in your catalogue as well. So it's the one thing that Laz does do now. He throws up that little bit of interesting breeding to say the least. He's very good. Rightio. Now, Bodine, I'm presuming David's going to do lot number 245, is he, Katrina?
Yeah, he'll do the next 2 lots.
he'll do the next 2. They're very interestingly bred, David. We'll stay with 245 because we want to give them both their right amount of time. And the video's playing now. Now, this is a filly by Always Be Mickey out of the In the Pocket mare in Bodine Babe. We talked about before about Bodine Boaz. I mean, it's a half sister to this horse, so it's a very, very exciting family.
Yeah, no, it can leave fillies like Bodine Bad Babe was a very good mare. She won 22, and this filly's probably the closest thing to her, in constitution, temperament, just a beautiful. She is just a lovely filly, and she's just an athlete, but she's just got a beautiful nature and good constitution. That's what I like.
And she's a nice walking horse. I've actually videoed a couple of the Always Be Mickeys. They all walk the same. He does throw a bit of a stamp.
Lovely moving.
Yeah, he does throw a little bit of a stamp. And This was one of the ones I like how you put it behind the jogger here, so you can actually see how clean gated it is. I see you've got the GoPro down in front of the camera too, so you tried a couple of ways to be able to get it to work properly. But I'm presuming someone's standing on that jogger, are they?
Somebody's sitting on the back of the four-wheeler, yeah. But the GoPro was probably too close to the horse, to be fair.
I'm all about innovation, David, so I don't care. I think the fact that you tried it, that's why I highlighted it when I saw that. I was like, I love people trying different things. I think as an industry, we must try different things. We're crazy if we don't. So, and there's that mare's pedigree on there before, headed by Bodine Boaz, as you said. But Bodine Bad Babe. Do you like B? Is there a reason for the B, David?
Well, it's just been a lucky. So it's been a lucky one for me, really. Some really good horses have come out of the B line, to be fair.
I'm tipping there's a few race callers that are thinking, oh, I'm going to kill him when I find him, so it'll be fine. So, and then we've got lot number 246, which is actually out of a daughter of Bodine Babe. This is a very lovely colt by Better's Delight. We've got bees going everywhere here. And I'm tipping this is one you probably reluctantly put up for sale, although you try to sell as many of them as you can.
Well, this colt actually is owned by a good friend of mine. He bought a half share in Bodine Major Babe, and we go turnabout with the mare, and this is his colt, and he is a absolute magnificent mover. Like, you wouldn't get a nicer moving colt if you tried. And he is a nice colt, lovely nature. Yeah, no, he is. She does leave nice types. We've had a bit of bad luck with her, to be fair. She's lost a couple of foals, and lost Gene Feast bought one out of the mare, and something happened to its front leg or something. I'm not just too sure, and he had to be put down. So, as a 2-year-old, so this will be a full brother to him, and we got good money for that one. But this is probably as athletic a colt as you'd like to see.
And the video, David, just played that last 5 seconds of the video, and I was going to put it back up, and I'm like, no. Go to the website, go to nzbstandardbred.co.nz and actually view the video a couple of times for yourself. Just the way he trots down the side of that hedge. It's just, when I was like, wow, he's just an eye catcher, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. I saw him, first time I saw him on the mare at Bruce's, and he just trotted across the paddock with absolute arrogance and just such a free-moving, beautiful move out, and I thought, well, I said to Bruce, you got something nice here.
Yep, and as I said, I encourage everyone to go and make sure they check that out. The next one we're going to highlight, we're actually just going to go over a little bit quickly, I suppose. There's a real good story behind this horse, Katrina, and what's going on, and I'm going to catch up with Mark O'Connor just to highlight this one horse, but it's a terrific horse by Sweet Lou, who are absolutely the flavour of the month in Australia right at the minute. He just Spirit of St. Louis, but it's just not him. He's doing it everywhere, and even at the sales, recent sales in Gold Coast, they're very, very much the flavour. But there's a real good story behind this colt in lot 349.
Yes, so Mark and Pauline O'Connor, who are Denario breeding, so they have presented this horse for sale, and the proceeds of him are going to be donated to a charitable trust, the Hawthorndale Retirement Trust, Care Village, and it's a new initiative basically on how to, care for people with dementia and Alzheimer's. So I know that you're going to be talking to Mark, and he's a lot more clued up on it than what I am. But it's just a really neat cause, and just a great way that they've chosen to support it. So if people are feeling charitable, then this is the horse to go to.
Absolutely, and I think, did I listen when I was downloading the video? 100% of proceeds are going to the charity. Like, he's basically, whatever he makes goes to the charity.
Yeah, I think whether it's over top of the service fee, look, you'll have to get Mark to clarify that. But yes, yeah. Yeah, and it is a shocking thing to mention, and I think any of these charitable things are, we've got to highlight as well, because I think we get anyone in racing, we're always just a gambling person, and we do this, we do that, we do so much good and the like. So I think hats off to Mark, and well done for you guys for highlighting it. And I say before about the videos, I love the poodle. I don't know if anyone's watched it and all the rest. You've got to go and watch the poodle. It's like, oh yeah, you want to film something? Will you step around me? It's okay. So it's got it.
He rules the roost there.
I can see that. We actually have one here, and I can vouch for the fact that they definitely do rule the roost. But please make sure you go and check out 349. And Katrina said there before about being charitable. Yeah, but you don't have to just be that, because it's just for such a terrific cause. But he's a lovely type of horse.
And it's out of a lovely family. Everill's at him. She's just been an absolute gem, and some beach daughter of hers. So. Yeah, no, there's plenty to like. Yeah,
absolutely.
I'd say about your names. I'll tell you, Kiwis can come up with some ripping names, and I must say, Shard Farms, Mark Smith and Deb have come up with a ripper here, and Captain Norman K. I don't know why. I just like it. It's one of those horses I'd like to have in my barn, just purely for the name. But a colt by Captain Treacherous. They're always well sought after, especially on this side of the ditch. But I think on your side of the ditch, they're just as popular.
Yeah, I think they're definitely warming up, and I'd expect that he's going to be probably, one of the hot sires this year. So, I think that this fellow in particular, he's a big, strong son of Captain Treacherous, and he certainly looks well advanced. I mean, I think his birth date's 1st of December, but it certainly looks, very well developed, as you'd expect from Shard Farm. Look, they don't lack for anything in their upbringing, so he's had a head start there.
They do a great job.
Yeah, out of a Western Ideal mare, so I mean he's just a prolific broodmare sire. So, and you've got lots of good winners on the page.
Yeah, only had the 4 live foals, only the one to get the races, and by the sounds of it, that horse is an up and comer in Romeo Shard. 3 wins from 5 starts, so I think that's very, very encouraging. But as you said there, just a lovely type of colt, big strong colt. That video is a little bit choppy. I'm not sure if it's what I've done or not. When people are watching this, please, as I say, keep going back to that. New Zealand, this is only a tease, so people can go there and the likes. But he's a beautiful, strong colt and presents beautifully. And you say Shard Farm, they do a terrific job with them, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's his pedigree right there on the page there. As I said, Captain Treacherous, out of the Western Ideal mare in Priscilla Shard, and big, strong colt. And stands up over a bit of ground too, so he's a bit of an excitement machine. Makar Lodge, I've done a couple of little chats with the guys from Makar Lodge. They're an integral part of the Southern Bred Southern Reared as far as foaling down a vast majority of the horses in the district, plus helping people get them in foal. They're an integral part, not just as selling horses, but the whole industry itself down there.
Oh, exactly. Look, Macca, up at Macca, they basically do it all, from, as you said, getting mares in foaling, they train, they prepare. So, it's a very busy operation. So, now this particular horse here, so it's actually from the famed Tour Peka family. And you'll notice probably if you've got any WA viewers, they'll recognise a whole heap of names there on that particular page. It's one family that's, ended up there a lot and with some terrific success, Cole Peka, Sugar Street, just placed in the WA Derby, Eloquent Mac, and so on. And then if you go back further, this actually goes back to Maureen's Dream. So he's a very well-known broodmare here in New Zealand. So this is the same branch as Ultimate Machete, Ultimate Sniper.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great. Very serious race horses in the background, and goes back to the Tour Peka family. So and once again, you've got the up-and-coming sire and Always Be Mickey out of a Better's Delight mare. So
and that's a really interesting cross. I think that we're going to see a lot more of in the years to come as well, because he
absolutely. I think it's going to be a great cross by the look of it at this stage.
It is indeed. Now that's the other one. I couldn't remember which was the other one that didn't have the video, and that is the other one. If people are wondering what he's looking at, I'm trying to see where my video is, where I must have put it in the wrong spot, but no, there wasn't that video.
And look, those videos that aren't there, they should be up, I would say, within the next day or two, because they've all been done. So we're just waiting for the editing to be done and for them to be up. So keep refreshing the page.
Don't worry about that. I'm only protecting my own backside, because I don't want Macca ringing me up and saying, you didn't put my video up. I'm just saying, no, it's all good. It just wasn't up there. And the last one we're going to highlight, what a cracking family. This is, David, I could start talking about this one, but I might let you. This is just an amazing, very current family, isn't it?
Yeah, do you want me to talk about this one?
Yes, Katrina, sorry.
No, that's all right. So you've got the Winter Rose family here. So I mean, like, buying this filly here, you're just buying a ready-made pedigree page. And I would say where she is in the sale right at the end, that if there's a few vendors around that have had a good sale, that they'll be lining up to get a filly, because basically that's what you're buying is sort of, the future brood mare.
Absolutely.
The dam herself, she won 9 and over $150,000. She's already proven herself as a brood mare. She's left Group 1 winner in South Coast Arden. Platinum Stride's been a really good horse over in Australia. And the only other one was South Beach Arden, and he died very early on, so showed a lot of promise. So, no, she's done a terrific job. And then you go to Winter Rose. Now, she's a winner of the New Zealand Broodmare Excellence Award. Left Group 1 winners in Better Strike, Arden's Choice, and then, Group 1 place getters and Group 2 winners in Rock and Roll Arden, and the mare is Southwind Arden. So, yeah.
Yeah, it won't be long before Southwind Arden is the only mare on the page, really. She's doing a job, and it is a fantastic family. And Katrina's actually got one out of that family.
It's a very
Yes, yep.
It's a very current family. Like it's one thing I'm big on is they're winning at the minute. Like South Coast Ardens, up there is probably your top 2 or 3 horses in the country, depending on who you talk to. I'm sure if you talk to Johnny, I know he'll say he's the best, and all the rest. But it's just a very current family. And Captain Treacherous, as we mentioned there before, it's a unique opportunity to get a potential broodmare of the future. That could be a ripping racehorse as well on top of it. It's just a very, very unique opportunity, that filly, isn't she?
Oh, it is. And it is a current family, but it also has huge depth. You go back. Yeah, so it's not just a sort of a flash in a pan sort of family that's just come up now and then, has never been around and disappears sort of as quick as it came. So, yeah, it's not a fly-by-nighter family.
No, and sorry, David.
And the Captain over Better's Delight, it's doing a great job in America. I see in the Crosses of Gold, and it's coming up in New Zealand now too.
Yeah.
We haven't had a lot of captains here, and they've taken a while to warm to them here. But I don't think you can overlook them now. He's one of the sires up and coming, and unfortunately there hasn't been a lot of them. With the frozen semen and not too many straws in New Zealand, we haven't had a lot of captains.
No.
So this, if you want a captain filly, John can be looking at something pretty good here, I would think.
And it goes back to that Sunbeat Somewhere and the dominance that he's eventually had. It's a funny thing. I think a lot of people weren't that keen on him while he was alive and kicking, but all of a sudden now people, and I believe the last of his semen is being used this year. I don't think there's going to be any more of him after this year. So a filly like this is just going to be worth its weight in gold, as are a lot of these others in the sale. But Katrina, back to what I said at the start of the show, we want to make sure that people realise, like, she's lot 407. I think the last lot was 415. I'm going to be in trouble. No, it was 415, which was a great guess. And it's, again, as a breeding opportunity, it's an be Mickey out of a Falcon Sealster mare. So all of a sudden you want to start having a filly to breed from. There's 2 big ticks there for you as well, and then it's got the Vance Hanover as well. So it's a ripping catalogue, but the depth in it on the South Island, and especially going towards the end of the sale on day 3, it's just massive, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I think too that there's kind of something for everyone, and I think perhaps not as many Betters Delights in the sale this year, so people are going to have to be realistic and realise that they're not all going to walk away with one of those. So I think they're going to be a lot more open to some of these up-and-coming sires. Yeah. And I think those sires have also had another year. Takes like Sweet Lou. He's had a year to establish himself. So I think it'll be a different sale from last year, where you might not have the domination of one particular sire, that people are going to be receptive to a whole lot of different sires.
I agree, and I think we've got Down by the Seaside, we've got Always Be Mickey, Sweet Lou, and Captain Treacherous. Like they're up and comers, and I think people realise that.
It's an interesting thing, the breeding game, isn't it? Like, because you can get fickle on a certain horse, and then all of a sudden you put 12 months on, and you're like, wow, why were we knocking those 12 months ago? And then the reverse, people wrap up a horse and all the rest. It is a game. It is a lottery. But I think, talking to the experts and relying on a lot of the experts as to get the right answers is one of the keys. And I think, the catalogues, the way NZB put the catalogue out are terrific. What you guys do there with Southern Bred, Southern Reared, one, coming on with these, putting the word out there and the likes. And these aren't necessarily anyone's top picks. These are just horses that we wanted to highlight to make people pick up the catalogue and start flicking through.
Yeah, exactly.
And from the Southern Bred guys, especially on from the through the Christchurch draft, we want to highlight that. I want to highlight the whole catalogue because we want the whole of New Zealand to be prospering. But as far as you guys are concerned, it's definitely more that Christchurch one, and we want to make sure that people are realise too, because sometimes when you get to day 3, people think, oh, this is the last of the sale. It's not. It's just where they've come out in the alphabetical order, and how it all works.
Yeah, I mean, in the past they did have sort of that third day was sort of the ones that hadn't made the select sale, whereas that's not the case anymore. So, yeah.
I spoke to Cam Bray, and I asked him if I was allowed to say this, and he says like the run of the last 15 to 20 horses in the sale is just ridiculous, including that filly that we just highlighted just then, amongst others. But he said people will be hanging around, and he agrees. Even that horse in the last, people are going to be the last lot to go through. They'll be waiting for it because of the fact that it's unique breeding. So I think it's great. If any of my Australian viewers and people in Australia watching this want to get in touch with you guys over there, what's the best way to do it? Do we do it through the Southern Bred, or do we contact the farms individually off the contact details on the catalogue? Or
probably, I think the easiest way is just to contact the preparers. So the numbers are all listed in the catalogue. So contact those. And look, there's a number of trainers and agents in New Zealand that if you want somebody to come and have a look at them, that can be arranged. So. Yeah, and most of us here will be based with the horses basically till the sort of 2 days before the actual sale in Christchurch.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then
I think it's also key what you said there about the agents. I think NZB put out a thing that they've got, the likes of Mitch Davis and Cam Bray knows, which can do your inspections for you, but they've also got other people that they're removed from NZB but are more than happy to help people. So they've got people there and they can assist anyone. So I mean, if they have troubles getting in touch with you guys, they can contact NZB as well to be able to get it out there, because unfortunately there's going to be no Aussies on a plane. We can guarantee that heading to New Zealand anytime soon, that's for sure.
There's nobody on any planes coming to New Zealand.
No, I saw a Riley old Kiwi just the other day, Ray Green. I think he's itching to get back. But I did actually ask him for an interview, and I tell you, for an old man, he can go very quickly when he wants to. He was gone. He said no. But that's unfortunately the world we live in Australia. It's a bit of a different scene for us here. That our governments have done it a little bit differently, but you can only do what your governments say, and I don't think we're letting in too many people into Australia either, so we'll just deal with it, but we're going to keep highlighting them. I'm going to be doing more of these, but I really do thank both of you guys. I'd love to probably catch up with as many of you as I can prior to the sale, but also after the sale, and just give a bit of a wrap like we did last year, Katrina. You had a great sale last year, but even if you don't have a good sale, I think it's still very good to put it in perspective on how they actually work.
Yeah, no, it's great.
All right, David. All right, and Katrina, thank you so much. I really do appreciate your time coming on Campbell's Comments and giving us a bit of a run through. As I said, the 9 lots we highlighted are not necessarily the picks of the draft or not the picks of the draft. They're just horses that we're trying to keep across, which is what Southern Bred do. Highlight everyone's draft and promote everyone's horses.
Exactly. That's what we do.
Yeah, no, we sort of try and share everything around fairly.
We do.
And, give everybody a chance for promotion. So, Brent Mcintyre, who's chief at Macca Lodge, one of his favourite sayings is "we before me," and that's, I guess, probably one of the guiding principles of SBSR. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
As an Australian, I could say this. It's one of you Kiwis' favourite words, a wee little thing and a wee this. It's I have a lot of wees over there, so yeah.
It has a few readings. No, hey, thanks, Paul, and we appreciate everything that you're doing. You're doing a super job. So it's a way of keeping everybody connected when we can't be here physically. So, but as you said, look, any of us preparers, we're at the end of the phone, and we can go out there with our iPhones and video horses if the Australians want that. So we're more than happy to help.
And I think, Katrina, that's very key what you just said then. There are ways around it, exactly that, through FaceTime, even just a recorded video, and you can put a time or a stamp, you can put your watch next to it and say to people, look, this was just taken, here's the horse, and can go from there. We've just got to, like what David did, put the GoPro on the jogger. You've got to think outside the square to sort of meet the market at the minute, and there are plenty of ways of doing it. I'll just say thank you very much to you guys, but as I said, it won't be the last time I'll be talking to e-reviews too, and it won't be the last time I'll be talking to Southern Bred Southern Reared. But thanks very much for joining me, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Paul.